What's up? What's up? What's up? It is us back again. First possession here. Listen. Somebody in Philly just reestablished themselves as the best player on the planet. We're going to be talking about that. Mr. Joel Embiid established himself as the best player on the planet. But first, I would like to welcome you. Welcome to First Possession here. I am your host, John Ayagoro, here with my partner, David Ogden-Bay, as we'll be covering the hottest topics in sports, but none hotter than what happened last night. Joel Embiid had a monster game against arguably the best team in the NBA, the Utah Jazz. He had 40, 19, 3-3. Woof! 40 points, 19 rebounds against a two-time Defensive Player of the Year, Rudy Gobert. And some people are saying Joel Embiid is the best player on the planet. So I'm bringing that discussion to the table right now. My friend Young Mustard, is Joel Embiid the best player on the planet? And if you say no, tell us who is.
He's not the best player. We do this all the time, bro, and I'm so annoyed when people do this. They see somebody play well and out of their mind, and then they forget that LeBron James still walks the planet. Stop it, bro. Stop. It's so disrespectful that every single year people try to find the new flavor. Like first it was Steph, and I could take it back a little bit. First it was Derrick Rose. I remember when he had his hot MVP year, LeBron shut that shit down real quick. Then it was Paul George. LeBron shut that shit down real quick. Then it was Steph Curry. LeBron came back from 3-1 on Steph Curry, and as much as I love Steph, LeBron put him in his place.
Yep.
Then what happened afterwards? Kevin Durant went to go join Steph Curry. They had to make a super team to beat LeBron. Then KD goes down. We don't have the answer to that until the NBA Finals, potentially when they meet up. But when KD was out, who came out victorious? It wasn't Kawhi Leonard after everybody thought he was the man after what he did in Toronto, because LeBron James, time in and time out, defies all the odds, all the expectations, and exceeds them time in and time out. And we need to start giving him his props while he's still playing at the level he's playing at, because who knows when he's going to fall off. The guy is 36 years old, averaging the numbers that he's averaging, and he's doing something that we've never seen been done before, playing as arguably the best player at year 18. Come on, man. There's only one guy who's the best player in the world, and his name is LeBron James. And unless you're bringing Kevin Durant to the table, I don't want to hear nothing about Joel Embiid being the best player when he can't even stay healthy for 65 games a season. So I don't want to hear that.
Listen. LeBron has been great. A lot of guys have been great actually this season, but none have been better than Joel. Trust the process, Embiid.
Brother.
Listen. I don't care who you are, Rudy Gobert, Miles Turner, Defensive Player of the Year, he's going to give you buckets. He's going to give you 40, he's going to give you 30, and then he's going to be at 20 rebounds onto that. Listen, there's nobody I think about 4 or 5 guys in the league right now. There's dominant both on the offensive side of the ball and the defensive side of the ball.
Man.
Listen, Joel Embiid can make a case right now for MVP and DPOY.
It's fair.
And Defensive Player of the Year, because he can give you buckets on the offensive end and lock you down on the defensive end. And when I look at Joel, listen, I've said this for the last 5 years. When Joel Embiid is healthy, he's the best big in the NBA. Save your Jokic takes, save your Anthony Davis takes, save all your takes. When Joel Embiid is healthy, he's the best big man in the NBA. And now we're finally got to see, when you put shooters around him, when you spread the floor, when you get him a coach in Doc Rivers, when you put the right pieces around him, you can then maximize his strengths. He can then be dominant as we know he can be. The only asterisk that we had on Joel is, can he stay healthy? Mm-hmm. Can he stay healthy for, a long period of time? And so far, so good this season. So far, so good. He looks in absolutely good shape. He looks, his shot is falling. He's as dominant as he is. And I think he has finally realized that, okay, nobody can stop me. I think he has come to terms with himself, because we've seen flashes over the last couple of years that when Joel is healthy, when he sits in the post, when he goes out, shoots his mid-range here and there, nobody can stop him. And I think he has finally come to realization of himself that, okay, guys, now I'm back, new trainer, healthy body, I'm feeling good. Now it's time to really show the world what I'm about. And I think right now, listen, as you know, I'm a James Harden fan, and I know James Harden has been playing great this season. James Harden hasn't been playing better than Joel Embiid this season. Joel Embiid right now, save your Wash King takes because he's hurt. You know, Kevin Durant is hurt. Y'all know how I feel about Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant is hurt just between James Harden, Joel Embiid right now, and some other guys. And I don't think anybody right now can say they're having a better season than Joel Embiid. I mean, granted, to be the best player, you also have to do that in the playoffs.
Exactly.
And I think Joel Embiid will show us that in the playoffs.
When?
But right now.
He's never shown us that. He's never shown us that.
That's a new season.
No. Because we
He's
saw
healthy now. He's got pieces around him
You're not
now.
slick. You're not slick because just because you put pieces around him doesn't mean I'm just going to give him a check mark for the postseason. I got to see it to believe it. And what I've seen from Joel Embiid in the playoffs is that he can't get it done. I mean, he doesn't have a conference finals appearance.
Are you saying so far in the regular season it's a fluke?
Wait. Just let me say something real quick. He doesn't have a conference finals appearance. He got swept last year. Not only did he get swept the year before.
His team was hurt. Come on.
Okay, then forget about it. The year before, he was going through injuries caused by his own doing. He doesn't take care of his body. It's on him that he hasn't been able to be healthy. Let's not forget that photo of him eating a cheeseburger before a game now while he was getting a foot massage on the sideline. Joel Embiid's issues with health all fall on Joel Embiid. So even if you want to say his postseason performances being lackluster are due to injury, who caused a lot of those injuries? Him not taking care of his body. And who takes care of their body the best in the NBA? LeBron James. That's why he's been able to play at the level he's been able to play at in the regular season and the postseason for almost 2 decades. So I don't want to hear anything about Joel Embiid. I don't want to hear anything about Kevin Durant. I don't want to hear anything about playoff P. I don't want to hear anything about Kawhi Leonard until they dethrone LeBron James. Then the king is still reigning atop of the NBA, bro.
Listen,
I don't want to hear anything about all that.
The last couple of seasons, Kevin Durant has been the best player on the planet. So let's not
gosh.
act like LeBron still holds
the
throne. No,
stop it.
Let's
Stop
pump the
it.
brakes.
Stop
Let us
it.
pump the brakes. Now we get everybody healthy back for the playoffs. Joel has his squad. Ben Simmons, Steph Curry. He's got some shooters around him. He's got his coach, Doc Rivers, and he's finally healthy. And he finally has come to terms that nobody can stop him. And I think right now he is the best player on the planet. And I know we hate to give big guys that crown because, you know, they kind of need other people to make plays for them. No, Joel gets the ball in the post and goes to work. He doesn't really need you to, you know, create assists for him. No, he just give me the ball, get the hell out the way. I'm gonna score on whoever's on me. And I think, you know, he has finally come to terms with that, and he's unstoppable. And it's time we finally giving Joel that respect that he deserves. Granted, he's got to stay healthy, but right now he's absolutely balling. Anyways, moving on. Steph Curry has some words to say for the rest of the league. He said he feels like other teams are targeting the Warriors or beating them badly because of the last 5 years of how the Warriors dominated the league, how they won multiple championships. And now that they're hurt, he feels like, okay, maybe the rest of the league is getting revenge. And listen, when I heard those comments, I was like, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right.
It's a fact.
It's a fact. Absolutely, that's a fact. Because for Rockets fans, listen, in the last 5 years, how many times has the Warriors beaten the Rockets? I'll say maybe 4 out of those 5 times. So damn right I'm hurt. Damn right I want every team to
I thought you're not
Warriors.
even with the Rockets.
No, I'm just saying. Well,
you're
James
a Nets
Harden
guy.
James Harden was on the Rockets. So, hey, that was somebody.
You know, James Harden probably ran to the East because he was afraid of Steph.
Stop it.
You know, just
stop
saying.
it. Stop it. Anyway, the Warriors were in the way of James Harden making a championship run. So, yeah, you're damn right. I listen. Beat them by 30, 40, 50. I don't give a damn. When Klay comes back, they're probably going to go on another run again. I don't care. But for right now, I'm happy that the league, because they literally, the Warriors, when they got Kevin Durant, nobody could beat them. Basically, the championship was done before the season even started. It wasn't fair to the rest of them. You can't have Steph, Klay, Kevin Durant on the same team. I mean, come on. You can't have that on the same team. So you're damn right. Every team thought they had no chance against that squad. And granted, they had no chance. And, every team around the league seen what the Warriors did with that squad. And now they said, okay, now you don't have Kevin Durant. Now you don't have the squad depth that you used to have. Now you don't have everybody that you used to have, Now we really get to see who you are. Steph Curry, we're going to start raising our eye marks about him also.
We're still doing this.
Hey, we're still doing this. They're out of the playoffs right now, so we're still doing this.
Oh, brother.
And listen,
they have an above 500 record. They're like 3 games above 500.
If the season was to end right now, would they make the playoffs?
Because the West is stacked.
I don't care.
The West is stacked.
I don't care.
That's disrespectful, bro.
But listen, we had our Warriors fun the last 5 years. I certainly didn't have fun because they were just smacking the Rockets left and right center. So now that he says, "Oh, teams are getting revenge," that's good for him. Good for the Warriors. We hope Klay comes back healthy next year because we all love Klay Thompson, and we hope that when Klay and Steph are playing on the court together, it's a beauty to watch, and we hope that Klay comes back healthy. But right now, I'm having fun watching the Rockets lose games and losing big.
Talking about the Rockets or the Warriors?
I mean the Warriors. The Warriors, my bad. I'm
because the Rockets are losing games.
Even the Rockets are losing
I was
games
gonna say.
too. I mean, I don't have a problem with that either. But I'm happy that the Warriors are finally losing games and losing big because for the last 5 years they have made the playoffs unwatchable because of how dominant they were.
I mean, of course, the Warriors have a target on their back.
Damn right.
I mean, if I'm Dame, I'm Harden, I'm giving them 50 every night. You get what I'm saying? Because, I mean, these are the guys that have been bullying you since, over the last half decade? So I did the exact same thing. But just know that the Warriors will be back next year.
Will they?
They will be back next year. Because we all know when Klay gets back, man, Klay and Steph, nobody is messing with them, bruh. We all know nobody's touching Steph.
Nobody's iffy, though, because we don't know how healthy Klay can be.
I don't want to hear that, man. I don't want to hear that. You can't. That shot is not leaving anytime soon. And then as far as his defense, I can understand his defense being a concern. But I've been saying, at the end of the season, we should kind of get a little bit of a better gauge on how good James Wiseman is. And if Wiseman is good enough, I think you keep him. And if you see potential, especially on the defensive end, because defensively, he looks very lost. But if Wiseman doesn't pan out by the end of the year the way that a lot of us think he should, then I think you move him and get an established big. Yeah, get an established big because the window for Steph and Klay is right now. Definitely. So if you have a big man that looks lost on the defensive end in the same conference as Anthony Davis and Nikola Jokic and other great dominant bigs, even Rudy Gobert can torch him because of how bad he is in the case of Wiseman, then you definitely move on. And I think a trade for Vucevic should be on the table because I've been hearing a lot of rumors that Vuce is kind of on the trade rumor mill right now. So there are a lot of options the Warriors could do. They also have Minnesota's pick. Maybe they don't even have to move Wiseman. They get other pieces to fill out their bench and other needs. But I definitely think if push comes to shove and the way you get back on track is establishing yourself as a dynasty again and keeping it living, I think Wiseman being traded should be on the table because he's not looking at what LaMelo Ball is. It looks like the Warrior. I'm not saying that they made a mistake because at that time that was a need. The big man position was a need. And even with the number 1 pick, Anthony Edwards, it's not like the Timberwolves really needed LaMelo. There are other options for them. But regardless, man, I'm sorry. James Wiseman, I like him and he shows flashes, but he's not there yet. And he needs time. And maybe for all we know, next year is the year he takes off. But why not trade for something that is a guarantee? Rookies are not a guarantee. And the Warriors need guarantees right now because, like I said, the window for Steph and Klay is now. Now is the time to get that last run and that last hoorah to get that championship and end the dynasty. Get Steph that Finals MVP that he's needed forever. He will get it. He will get it.
That's not happening.
He will get it. Klay, get him another ring. Make it 4. Make it 4 rings. Keep the dynasty living on because these guys are coming for you, and you guys need to win now. I mean, right now.
There's no doubt the Warriors will be back next year with Klay Thompson and Steph Curry coming back healthy, and hopefully they add a couple more pieces. And can they start another dynasty? I don't know all about that, but they certainly will be competitive next year. But anyways, I'm glad they're getting smacked left, right, and center. It's none of my business. It was fun seeing the Warriors lose. But anyways, moving on. The Warriors last night, Dame Dollar had some words to say. Hit a game-winning or a field goal over them, a three-pointer. And some people had questions about is Dame Dollar the most clutch player in the NBA right now?
Absolutely not. No.
Let me ask that question again.
No.
Is Dame Dollar, Damian Lillard, Dame Time the most clutch player in the NBA right now?
No, he's not.
I'm not sure you heard the question.
I heard the question.
So I'll repeat it again.
No, I'll repeat the question. Is Dame the most clutch player in the NBA right now? No, he's not.
Who is?
There are a plethora of players I will take in the clutch over Damian Lillard. And that's not to say that Dame's not clutch. But for me to look and rank clutch players, I have to look at what you've done in the postseason. Because the regular season, you can be all clutch all you want. Let me give you a player, for example. Tracy McGrady is one of my favorite players ever. But he's never even got out the first round. But guess what? There were people that were telling you he's clutch and swear on their kids that he's clutch because they saw him do 13 in 30 seconds. Those are moments. That's a clutch moment in the regular season. Greatness is defined come postseason time. And what has Dame done in the postseason? I'll give you what he's done. He's hit a game winner on the Oklahoma City Thunder that closed them out in 5 games.
Yep.
He also hit a game winner on the Houston Rockets that closed them out in 6 games. And where did those shots take place? The first round. Cool. He's a first round clutch machine. What has he done outside the first round? I hardly see anything. He's got 1 Western Conference Finals appearance. And what happened? He got swept. Not only did he get swept, but they were up double digits in multiple games. And even in one of the closing games, he was stripped by Iguodala on the last possession. So as far as I'm concerned, there are numerous players that had way better resumes than Damian Lillard in the playoffs. Steph Curry, Kevin Durant, LeBron James, just to name a few. Even James Harden, who was able to take the Golden State Warriors with Kevin Durant. Meanwhile, Dame didn't even face the Warriors team with KD, and he got swept. James Harden was able to take them to 7 games with Kevin Durant on that team. So there are a multitude of players that I would take in the clutch. Even Kyrie Irving, KD and James Harden's teammate, I would take him in the clutch over Damian Lillard. Because at least when he hits a clutch shot, it's in the NBA Finals. It's not in the first round. I'm sorry, all this stuff about Dame time, he's clutch. Don't get me wrong. But to say he's the most clutch player in the NBA because of 2 shots in the first round that are historic, don't get me wrong, that's still not enough because there have been other guys that have hit bigger shots in way bigger moments than against the Oklahoma City Thunder with Russell Westbrook and Paul George. Like, I don't care about that.
Listen, guys, listen. The disrespect.
Oh, Mike, stop it, bro. Stop.
That you just showed. If I had a watch on right now, I would point at a clock because Dame time right now, hell, for the last 5 years, has been the most clutch player in the NBA. Listen, I'm not saying the postseason doesn't matter. Or the playoffs
regular
doesn't
season
matter.
success, man.
But in order to get to the playoffs, you have to, ball out in the regular season because the regular season does matter. Am I correct?
Go ahead.
The regular season matters. And since Dave got in the league, nobody has hit more buzzer beaters, more game-winning field goals, more game-winning 3-point field goals, more than Damian Lillard. Listen, when the chips are down, good game, hot night, bad game, doesn't matter. Since Damian Lillard got in the league, when the chips are down, when the clock is running down, nobody is better at taking the last shot than Damian Lillard since he has been in the league. Listen, I love Kyrie Irving, love Kevin Durant. I'll still take those guys to win. I mean, to hit the last shot. If my life depending on it, right now I'm taking Kevin Durant, nobody else. But Damian Lillard, since he came to the league, listen, every big shot, you don't hit a 30-footer to close out the series if you're not Damian Lillard. Listen, that was a cold-blooded shot. I remember 2014 Houston Rockets. Listen, that was one of my first NBA series watching. And the Rockets were obviously my favorite team back then. Damian Lillard hit that shot with 0.9 seconds falling out of bounds. And I was like, okay, that dude is special. And since that point, it's been game winner after game winner, clutch shot after clutch shot. listen, Damian Lillard, Dame Time, I think right now is the most clutch player in the entire NBA, and nobody else.
I don't want to hear that, because how can you say he's the most clutch when he has only one conference finals appearance? This is the same guy. I'm going to read off a couple numbers of Damian Lillard in the postseason. Last year against the Golden State Warriors, in which they got swept, while being up double digits in multiple games in that series, Damian Lillard averaged 22 points, 9 assists, and 5 rebounds, but shot 37% from the field and 36% from three. Then we could also look at 2018, where they were the 3 seed coming into the postseason. Facing a New Orleans Pelicans team that was the 6th seed, led by Anthony Davis and Drew Holiday, that had already lost to DeMarcus Cousins mid-season. Not only did they get swept, but Damian Lillard was outplayed by Drew Holiday. He only averaged 18 points, 5 assists, and 5 rebounds, along with 4 turnovers a game in that series, shooting 35% from the field and 30% from three. So Damian Lillard has had numerous shortcomings, in the postseason that people just sweep under the rug. And even in that 2019 run that he had to the conference finals, that a lot of people say is his best postseason to date, which I will agree with, because that's the furthest he's ever gotten, which is just a testament to the lack of playoff success that he's had. Even in that run, in the second round, we all know that was the CJ show. It wasn't the Dame show. Dame showed up in the first round, had his moments. CJ showed up in the second round. They both choked in the third round in the conference finals against the Warriors and got outplayed by Steph Curry, who had his greatest series throughout his entire career, arguably against Damian Lillard, on his head. So I don't care what people say. I get the shots are amazing. He's had clutch moments, and people tend to embellish in them far too much, to the point that they're overlooking so many other players that have accomplished way more in moments that actually mattered more than the first round. I'm sorry, a first round performance, it should only hold so much weight. That's just how I feel.
It's the playoffs. What do you mean?
And it's the first round.
Listen, Dame Time is the most clutch player to me entirely. But anywho, when we come back, we'll be talking about Russell Wilson, some noise around that camp. Big Ben, also some news with that. The Steelers plan to bring Big Ben back. We'll be talking about that when we come back. Stay tuned. First possession here. We'll be right back. Welcome back to First Possession here, still talking all things sports. Listen, I don't know what's been going on lately in the NBA, but some of these referees, if you know what I mean by that, listen, they've just been throwing out ejections, technicals left, right, and center. And listen, is it time Adam Silver does something about these ejections? Because we've been seeing nationally televised games, fun games, games against 2 top teams. Listen, Donovan Mitchell got ejected last night. Devin Booker got ejected the other night. And we'll just be seeing some ridiculous technicals, ejections left and right. Some soft foul calls also. Do you think Adam Silver needs to step in and do something about this?
To be fair about the Donovan Mitchell ejection, he kind of had that coming. Like, keep talking to the ref. Not saying I agree with the refs throwing him out, but, just that's how they are, you know what I'm saying? And then Devin Booker, that ejection was ridiculous. J.J. Redick threw the ball at the referee and got ejected. That was ridiculous. But I think the most egregious one out of all of these, at least recently over the last year, I wouldn't even say Draymond. I'm going to take it back a bit. And I'm going to go to Kristaps Porzingis when he got ejected against the Clippers. Because this kind of stuff, it's different when it happens in the regular season for a normal game. But when you get to a playoff game and you're ejecting a dude over some useless situation that the players don't even find that serious, then I think that's when you have a problem, because we could argue that Kristaps Porzingis, had he been able to play in that game, Mavs could have won. So to me, I think something needs to be done. These refs are soft, bro.
Oh my God.
They're soft.
So soft.
They're so soft. Like, these guys are, I'm not even trying to be mean here, but it reminds me of like kids that they got bullied back in the day, so they're taking it out on the jocks now. You get what I'm saying? And I'm not trying to be mean. Like, I'm not saying every single ref got bullied back in high school, but that's just what it feels like. So to me, they need to stop bringing attention on themselves instead of leaving the attention on the players. That's what I think they need to do.
Especially in like really big games where it's like 2 teams are battling out and then there's high emotions and then suddenly, pew, another one, and then you're out. No, I mean, do I think Adam Silver needs to step in and do something? No. Because will this be the first time we're seeing NBA players shout out profane words? But shout out to Eric
Wait,
Bonds.
so you don't think Adam Silver needs
I
to do
don't
anything?
think he needs to step in and do anything. Why? Because, listen, it's a weird season. There's 0 to limited fans. Why?
Man.
Now you can hear everything. If I say F, like it's like boom.
But you shouldn't be ejected
You can
for
hear
cussing,
that.
bro.
You know what I'm saying? Like prior to obviously when COVID hit, the refs couldn't hear when Devin Booker probably says the F word or probably cusses them out or something. They couldn't hear all that. Why? Because the arena is loud. Fans are yapping and they're shouting and they're yelling.
I mean, not if you're
everything.
playing.
And now there's like nobody in the stands. If Devin Booker hears like, I don't know, if he breathes on you, you can probably hear him. So I just think it's, as a result, well, obviously these ejections. I mean, but some of them, granted, I will give you that. They're really soft and really uncalled for. But I think like they need to relax in big games when two teams are fighting it out and there's high emotion. Just hold your whistles. Call the fouls when you need to. Hold the whistle. Call soft. Don't be calling soft fouls here and there. You know, let the game just flow. I think it ruins the game. You mentioned Kristaps Porzingis last year in a playoff game. What are you doing ejecting stars? I mean, what are you doing seriously? But, you know, I think Adam Silver just needs to tell them, hey, listen, guys, I know now you can hear everything because there's no fans in the arena or whatever, but just hold your whistles. We can't be throwing star players out of the arena in a tough game when two good teams are battling it out. But, you know, I think they'll be just fine.
I think Adam Silver needs to take action because even when you say, like, the no fans and all that, I still think, what about those games like the Pistons when they play the Kings? There's not going to be any fans there anyway. You get what I'm saying? Refs are hearing all that stuff regardless. You know, not every NBA game is going to be filled up. We all know there's small market teams out there who struggle to even get attendance. Like, who's going to go to Pistons games? I don't think anybody's going to those. Who's going to Sacramento Kings games? I don't think anybody's going to those. Hell, I live in Houston now. There's nobody going to Rockets games anymore for the time being because what's to watch? You feel me? So, like, in those kind of settings where even if there's going to be fans available, there may not be fans there, so they're still going to be able to hear stuff. And even at that, I just feel like when playoff games are starting to get affected and actual players' legacies and careers are being affected due to this just dumb stuff by referees being soft and so sensitive, I think that you gotta start taking action at that point because you're hurting the game.
I mean, hopefully they just chill out after the All-Star break and the postseason. Literally, if I see one player get ejected in the postseason,
we're gonna have a problem.
I'm gonna lose it. But anywho, moving on. We just got news today. Breaking news: the Pittsburgh Steelers are planning on re-signing Big Ben Roethlisberger. Listen, it's something I did not see coming. I thought, you know, maybe after watching him last season, 4-for-4 Wendy style, you know, 4 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. I thought, you know, they're probably gonna move off.
So corny. Get out of here. That was
I'm just
lame.
saying. I thought they'll probably listen. I know you're a Steelers fan. I don't mean to rub it in, but that was ugly. It was good in some way. It was ugly in some way. What, threw for over 600 yards, 4 touchdowns. But you can't erase those 4 picks. Those were really bad picks against the Browns. You did that against the Browns. I mean, come on. Listen, I thought, you know, when they acquired Dwayne Haskins, you've got Mason Rudolph. Build around those guys. I think Mason Rudolph, he's a game manager. With that defense that the Steelers have, he can win you 9 to 10 games. What, the Steelers won what 12 games last season? Was it 12 or 13 that they won last season? I think Mason Rudolph can give you about 10 games. But why bring Big Ben back? He's already retired. You know, he's already getting old. I don't think he's Big Ben anymore. I think he's Fat Ben. You know what I'm saying? I think he's Fat Ben right now. You know, I just think for the Steelers, I don't think this is the right move by them. You have to start looking at the future. Big Ben has been there for the past 10 years. He's won you Super Bowls. He's done all he could for that franchise. And I think it's just high time that they move on. Maybe Dwayne Haskins and Mason Rudolph are not your guy, but some guys are going to come in the draft. Hell, you can even trade one of them and get something in the draft. You know what I'm saying? But I just don't think it's the right move for the Steelers because I think it's a team right now when you look at that defense and when you look at the offense. In the offense, they don't have really explosive guys, so I don't think Big Ben is going to have chunk yards like he normally used to. So now you have to find that game manager, somebody who can throw 5, 10 yards. Also somebody who can move, scramble out of the pocket. And Big Ben, now that he's Fat Ben, he can't move like he used to. You know what I'm saying? So I think bad move by the Steelers. And you know, I still don't think they're going to repeat what they did last year.
I think it's a good move. I wouldn't call it a great move. I'll just call it a move, to be honest. Like I said, Ben Roethlisberger should retire after the playoffs and what I saw in the postseason. But, like, what are the options, man?
Mason Rudolph.
I'm not going with Mason Rudolph as the starting quarterback. And Dwayne Haskins has to prove himself. Character-wise and off the field issues. He never really had a fair opportunity, I'll say. But I think the Steelers, they see their quarterbacks that they have at second string and the third string and Rudolph and Haskins, and they know they still need time to be legit starters in the NFL, especially Dwayne Haskins. So maybe Ben's going to be there for a year, see what he can do with that team. If we can win a Super Bowl, it's not going to happen, more than likely. But if he can get that last push, then you do that last push. You have this defense still together for now. Who knows how long it's going to last. But regardless, I just think that the Steelers are kind of in no man's land. They got a bunch of contracts they got to decide on, especially Juju. He's probably out of there. I don't care what he's been saying about he wants to stay in Pittsburgh.
The right team calls, he's definitely going to move.
Somebody's going to overpay him as if he's the number one. So regardless, the Steelers, I love my team, but it just doesn't look great right now, And I do think that also, the way you can kind of turn it around is if you look into the running game in the draft. If you try to focus on the running game, there are some quality backs you could look at. And the issue is just the running game is not as effective as it used to be. But regardless, the Steelers are – it's a tough scenario. I'm sad. It's sad.
It's all right, my friend. I feel your pain. I'm a Texas fan. Also.
No, you don't, because y'all have no highs. Y'all have no highs.
Hey, listen, y'all are pretenders. Don't come at me.
But I've seen my team win a Super Bowl.
Okay.
We had highs.
Okay.
I've seen the highs.
I guess our high is.
And don't worry, we may be down now, but that's what separates great franchises from mediocre franchises.
I will give you that.
We'll be down now, and we will be back.
Pittsburgh is one of the best in the league. I'm talking about top to bottom.
Exactly.
President, GM, coach, top to bottom. I'll give you that. The Texans, we don't know what's wrong with that franchise. But anywho, moving on. Talk about the Phoenix Suns. Listen, they're second in the West right now. They just beat the Lakers without Devin Booker playing most of the second half. And they've got the league on notice. Listen, when we talked about the Phoenix Suns coming into the season, they acquired Chris Paul. They acquired Jay Crowder. We thought, okay, this is a team that could, make the playoffs. And maybe a first-round exit would be a success. But they're looking like favorites right now in the West. They're sitting at second in the West with a 24-11 record. Do you think the Phoenix Suns are favorites to come out the West, or at least one of the top three teams or contenders in the West?
No.
No?
No. And I like Devin Booker. I love Chris Paul. He's one of my favorite players. It sucks that he's not competing for a real championship this year. I'm sorry. The Suns are not competing for a championship. The Suns are competing for relevancy. That's what they're competing for. They just want to be competent to the point that Devin Booker doesn't want to leave. You don't want that kind of scenario because the way things were going before Chris Paul and actually before the bubble, it didn't look great, And Devin Booker has said already that he's tired of missing the playoffs. I'm glad that, he's been officially an all-star now. Even though it was an injury replacement, he still deserves that nod. But at the end of the day, the Suns, I just don't think they're good enough to beat the Lakers or the Clippers. I don't even think they're good enough to beat the Jazz, personally. I think the Jazz, the Jazz, they're no joke now. They're no joke. Even though I don't think the Jazz are as great as their record suggests, I do think they're still a formidable team in the Western Conference that can beat the Suns. I think the Suns, they're kind of in that territory that the Nuggets were a couple of years ago. They're an up-and-coming team in the NBA. They haven't really been battle-tested yet. And the Nuggets, they were battle-tested and they showed a lot of perseverance and they were able to succeed in the bubble, get into the conference finals. We've yet to see what the Suns can do come postseason time. So I got to see it to believe it as far as their success come playoff time. And if they're favorites, I don't think they are. I think they're kind of in the middle of the pack. Even if they're second in the West, I don't see that lasting long. I think they're going to finish around that 4 or 5 range. Even if they do finish in the top half, the Nuggets finished in the top half before a couple of years ago. They went 7 in the first round against the 7th-seeded San Antonio Spurs team. At the end of the day, you got to get to the postseason, and I got to see how you play and how certain players, react to certain matchups, game plans from the opposing coaches. You got to see it to believe it first, and I just haven't seen it yet from the Suns.
I mean, are they favorites? Okay, I wouldn't go that far yet because we haven't seen them in the playoffs. But I think they can beat any team except the Lakers.
Any
I think they
team.
can beat the in the West. In the West,
You think they can beat the
I
Clippers?
think they can beat the Clippers.
Oh.
Hey, we've seen with the Clippers. If you catch them on the off night, they can be had. Utah
I don't
Jazz,
know about that
they
one.
look good right now, but we got to see this in the playoffs. Obviously with the Suns, but with the Suns, that's not even really why I really trust them. Why do I really trust the Phoenix Suns? Because of who's at point guard. The point guard is at point guard.
CP3.
Chris Paul. Listen, at all times with the Suns, the ball is going to be in Chris Paul's hands or Devin Booker's hands. And that's either assist or bucket, literally every time.
I mean, Mikal can create a little bit.
And Mikal can create a little bit. Cameron Payne, we haven't been talking about him. He's been balling out so far. Off the bench, he's giving you a good way. When he comes on, he produces. Hey, watch the games. He produces. He produces.
It's just funny. You
They've
said
got
Cameron
Cam
Payne.
Johnson. They've got Jay Crowder, who's a tough defender, a 3-and-D guy who can, stretch the floor for the Suns. And when I look at the Suns, the only reason why I say they can't beat the Lakers is I don't think they have an answer for Anthony Davis. DeAndre Ayton, we're still waiting for his come-out season yet. He hasn't had that monster season, but we know what he's about. We know he can really ball out when he needs to. But the Clippers don't have like the Lakers do. The Jazz is just Rudy Gobert and a bunch of really short guys that can shoot threes. And when I look at the Suns, I look at Chris Paul, I look at Monty Williams, who's a Coach of the Year candidate also. I look at Devin Booker, who's finally balling out. And I look at the pieces around Chris Paul and Devin Booker. And I said, this team can be really dangerous in the playoffs. We know what CP3 is about in the playoffs. We've seen that over the last couple of seasons. Everywhere he goes, he makes them better. With the Hornets, with the Rockets, with OKC, and now with the Suns. Everywhere he goes, he makes the team better. And now you give Devin Booker a point guard. And I think they can make some noise in the playoffs. Listen, I don't know if they can do it against the Lakers, but I think against any other team, the Clippers, Jazz, Nuggets, Portland, they can do it against any other team but the Lakers. And they can do it against the Lakers. Why? I think because they don't have enough length.
Okay, I mean, that's fair. I just don't think that they're built to beat the Clippers because I think the Clippers having the wings that they have and as good as Chris Paul is, he's not going to go out there and create consistently against the defensive trio of Pat Bev, Kawhi Leonard, and Paul George. And Devin Booker, as good as he is, I don't think he has enough help to beat the Clippers. The Nuggets, I think, are even a threat to beat them because I think Nikola Jokic, talk about unstoppable players, I think he's in that conversation as one of the most unstoppable players in the NBA. As good as DeAndre Ayton is on defense, he's still going to get torched by Jokic. If Rudy Gobert got
torched by Jokic.
Yeah, I know. And when you pair that with, never know what you're getting from Jamal Murray every night, so you never know what he could do. And I still think there are just other teams that are capable of beating them. Are they definitively even better than Portland? When Portland's fully healthy, they're not definitively better than Portland.
We'll see Portland healthy. They didn't do anything against the Lakers.
No, you're not getting what I'm saying. I'm not saying that the Suns are not better. I'm saying are they definitively going to beat the Trailblazers in a 7-game series?
I think it would be a tough 7 games.
Exactly. And if it's a tough 7-game series against the Blazers, what hope do they have against the Clippers? Because the Clippers are not going past 5 games with the Blazers. So to me, I think as good as the Suns have looked this year, I still need to see them in the postseason for me to make any real assessment.
Definitely for any team to get some type of credit, we have to see this in the postseason. But anywho, the Suns right now sit in second place in the West, and they're looking absolutely nice. CP3's balling, Devin Booker and the crew are balling. But that's it. When we come back, we'll be talking about the Rising Star selection. The All-Star break is coming up. All-Star weekend, we're going to be making our predictions on the three-point contest, dunk contest, and also my segment, Show Me Love. That's coming up right after the break. Stay tuned. Welcome back to First Possession here. As we approach All-Star weekend, the Rising Stars team was named as we had some players like Zion Williamson been named, Tyrese Halliburton, John Morant for the World and for Team USA. But I'm going to bring the discussion to the table right now because there were a lot of snubs. Like P.J. Washington didn't make it. Tyler Hero did make it. His teammate Kendrick Nunn didn't make it. Who do you think is the most underrated rising star right now?
I think the most underrated rising star is Tyrese Halliburton.
Tyrese.
I think a lot of people. Well, first, I like to pat myself on the back because I called it. I said Tyrese was a steal in the draft. I know a lot of people were kind of doubting him because of his shot looking weird, but so far his shot has been connecting, and he's been, I think, better than a lot of people expected. Coming off of the bench for the most part this season, he's averaging 13 points, 5 assists, 4 rebounds, shooting 49% from the field, 43% from three on nearly 6 attempts a game, while also shooting 83% at the free throw line. Tyrese has the ability to play make. He has really good vision. His shot actually looks really effective, and it's not even where it should be yet. And he's still shooting in the high 40s, around the mid 40s, I should say. I think that there really is no rookie there really isn't any attention that he's getting because a lot of that attention is going to LaMelo, and I get it. The Kings are not winning enough games. They're a losing team. But regardless, a lot of these rookies are in losing situations. They were drafted to bad organizations anyways, so you can't really put that on the fault of Tyrese in the first place. And I think that when you just look at the fact that Buddy Hield more than likely, I think, will be traded. It's just a matter of time. I think he's going to take an even bigger role in the NBA and on that Kings roster. I think he's just really not disrespected, but just kind of just overlooked. Because when you talk about young players in the league, I hear Wiseman brought up before Tyrese, and Tyrese is having
great.
Exactly. He's having a better year than Wiseman's having. Wiseman got moved to the bench. You know, even Edwards, I don't even think Edwards is having as good of a year as Tyrese. So as far as I'm concerned, I think Tyrese is the most underrated.
I love Tyrese, and he has been playing absolutely phenomenal. Listen, I watched a little bit of him in Iowa State, and I didn't know how much it was going to translate to the NBA, but he's looked so far. He looks like he fits into the NBA right now. But that's not my most underrated rising star player. Listen, Michael Porter Jr., I think, could be the best player in the next 6 to 7 years.
Wow.
Michael Porter, listen, he has the skill, has the talent, has the upside. He just needs to be with the right team who's going to get him the right shots. Listen, when I watched Denver Nuggets, right, it's centered around Jamal Murray and Nikola Jokic, as it should. I mean, nobody's knocking that, but I'm saying when you have somebody as talented as Michael Porter Jr. on your bench, or now he's starting, you need to get him some touches. The touches he get, like he's a spot-up shooter. He's not a spot-up shooter. He can get his own shot. They need to let Michael Porter Jr. cook. Let Russ cook. Let Michael Porter Jr. cook. Because he can cook some guys.
What are they going to do with Jamal?
Yeah. Huh?
What are you going to do with Jamal?
Yeah, Jamal can get his. Come on.
But Jamal's the guy.
He's your point guard, though. He can make plays. Bro, when I watch Denver, it's Jamal Jokic, Jamal Jokic, Jamal Jokic, Jamal Jokic, Jamal Jokic, Jamal Jokic. Literally.
I know it's a lot too many.
Can somebody get the ball? No. Jamal Jokic.
I mean,
Jamal
they move
Jokic.
the ball, though. You can't say they don't.
Absolutely, move the ball. Because obviously when one of them gets doubled, Jokic always finds the right guy.
Exactly.
But I'm saying that sometimes, hell, run the pick and roll with Michael Porter Jr. and Jokic. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it doesn't look right because obviously when you have somebody as Jamal Murray who's a better ball handler. But Michael Porter Jr. can handle the ball. He can shoot it from anywhere also. He can take anybody. He's a good 6'9"-ish, 6'10".
Okay, then what about his defense since he has a good size?
Was Jamal Murray the greatest of defenders?
Hey, Jamal's improved on defense, bro. He's actually a really solid defender now.
Solid?
Yeah, he's a solid defender.
Cap. That is cap.
That's not
He's
cap.
He's an all-right defender. Listen,
that's solid.
If you put any effort in the NBA to just moving your feet, you're an all-right defender.
Okay, then there's nothing wrong being Michael Porter Jr. is not all right. He's bad.
He does get cooked on defense.
He's bad.
Like he's been trying lately also.
And still looking bad.
But I'm talking about more on the offensive end of the ball. Listen, he's played just about 28 minutes per game, averaging about 14 points and 7 rebounds on just about 9 shots per game. Get him 12 shots. He'll be averaging 20 easily. Oh. And if he has
so you think 3 shots is just going to give him?
Yes, because he's a very efficient shooter.
He is efficient.
He shoots 50% from the field and shoots 40% from the 3. How many guys in the league shoot 40% from the 3? He's a very efficient shooter. So I'm saying, get him more shots. Just don't make him a Ray Allen or Kyle Korver where he just spots up and shoot shots. No, get him in the floor of his game. And I think Michael Porter Jr., when he finds himself on a team where he's the second guy or number one guy, he can put up numbers. And I think then we'll start seeing the talent that this kid has. Because look, I'm going to be saying this. You know how I say about Carson Wentz, like, oh, Carson Wentz has talent, but nobody wants to hear me. Michael Porter Jr. has talent. This kid can ball, and it's time that we start putting some respect on his name. Listen, a couple of seasons, I'll finally come back to this tape like, I told y'all, because this kid can ball. He can ball. Anyway, moving on. My segment, Show Me Love. Listen, Show Me Love is a segment where I show some guys love who have been balling out recently. And the guys today I'm showing some love is the point guard, Chris Paul, CP3. Listen, the Suns are sitting right now in second place in the Western Conference. They're beating teams. They've won 13 of their last 16 games, beating teams such as the Bucks, the Clippers, the Lakers, the top teams in the East and Western Conference. And listen, Chris Paul, a great leader, as we all know, some people like to call him a locker room cancer. I don't know where that came from, but he's a great leader because anywhere he goes to, they automatically become better. We've seen with the Hornets, they automatically became better. We've seen with the Rockets, they went from playoff contender to title contenders. We've seen with OKC, from a lottery team to a playoff team. Now we'll see with the Phoenix Suns, from a lottery team now to a playoff team, and some might even argue title contenders. And when you look at Chris Paul, look, he's averaging 16 points and 9 assists a game. There's no better leader than him in the entire NBA. There's no better point guard than him in the entire NBA. When it comes to passing, when it comes to creating for your teammates, when it comes to just court vision, assists, making the right passes.
He's better than Harden at that?
Point guard, better than Chris Paul.
Better than Harden.
I mean, Chris Paul has been doing this for what?
So he's better than Harden.
Come
at
on,
that.
let's not do that. Don't put me on the
no,
spot. Don't
I'm
put
not
me
even
on the spot. Come on, don't put me on the spot. Don't do that.
I'm just saying.
Don't do that.
He's better passer than Harden.
That.
He's a better playmaker than Harden.
I don't think anybody's better than anything than James Harden. But
oh my God.
But anywho, Chris Paul has been absolutely playing phenomenal basketball for the Phoenix Suns. Listen, directs traffic on the court, great leader off the court, and Chris Paul, I'm showing you some love today. Chris Paul is my Show Me Love segment. But moving on to our final segment of the day. As we know, All-Star Weekend is coming on, so we're just going to make our predictions for the three-point contest. Listen, we've got names like Steph Curry, Devin Booker, Zach LaVine, Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, and Donovan Mitchell in the three-point contest. And in the dunk contest, we've got names like Cassius Stanley, Obi Toppin, and Anthony Simmons. So who do you think is going to go home with the three-point contest and the dunk contest?
The dunk contest, I'll go with Obi Toppin. Seems like he's just destined.
I think he's the favorite.
Yeah, I think he's the favorite. He's destined to do it, but we don't know. Some guys come out with a bag that we didn't even expect.
Facts.
You know, I remember when Aaron Gordon was in his first dunk contest, I didn't expect him to do it. He did. So that's that. But as it pertains to the three-point contest, I got to go with Steph. He's probably the safe choice.
He's probably,
but you never know. There are times where certain guys go crazy. Remember Joe Harris when he won, Devin Booker when he won, Eric Gordon. To be fair, when Eric Gordon won, that was like a lame three-point contest. I remember that. But, yeah, I think Steph's the safe choice for the three-point contest. And like I said, for the dunk contest, I'll go Obi.
I'm not playing it safe. I'm going Devin Booker.
For the three-point contest?
The three-point contest, yeah.
I mean, that's not a bad...
Zach, but I was like, okay, I've seen Zach in the three-point contest before, and he didn't really,
Hey,
show
Zach
out.
He can show out the shit.
Yeah, he can shoot it.
I'm not,
listen, if you're in the three-point contest, you can shoot it. But I'm saying, I like Devin Booker a lot because, I don't know, I just feel like he's playing with a chip on his shoulder this time around.
Snubbed?
Yeah, big snub. Listen, have you been watching his games recently?
Yeah, I've seen him.
He's been playing ridiculous. But I'm going Devin Booker for my three-point contest. And dunk contest, I'm going Cassius Stanley. Listen, if you watch him in Duke, you know this brother's got some hops for days. Obi Toppin, listen, we don't know what he's going to come out with. I'm intrigued to see what Obi Toppin comes out with, but I'm going to go Cassius Stanley because you know them Dukies can fly. We've seen with Zion, with RJ, with now Cassius Stanley. Listen, those Duke boys can fly, and I'm going to go with Cassius Stanley, and I'm going with Devin Booker for the three-point contest, and that's our All-Star Weekend pick. Listen, the team selections haven't come out yet, where, obviously with Captain Durant and Captain Washed King LeBron James picking their squads. Those teams haven't come out yet. But it should be a great and exciting game for everybody. Just for guys to, relax and rest their legs some. Listen, Follow protocols. We know you're in Atlanta, NBA plays, but still, listen.
Hey,
we want a successful.
I know Magic City's calling some of
We
y'all.
want a successful second half of the
chill.
NBA season. But that's it for today, guys. We appreciate you for tuning in. This is First Possession. Again, I'm your host, John Aguero, and my partner, David Ogden-Bay. We'll be back with another episode. Stay tuned for that. We are out.